There's an unusual silence between two of Compton's most prominent figures. It's eerily quiet, and for those well-versed in hip-hop history, silence can often express more than words. Kendrick Lamar and Snoop Dogg, two legendary artists linked by their backgrounds, legacies, and cultural importance, aren't in touch. This lack of communication isn't due to any conflict or betrayal, but rather something more complex: loyalty, missteps, and the harsh realities of modern rap rivalries. Let's provide some background. It all started with what appeared to be an innocent repost. Snoop Dogg shared a diss track from Drake titled "Tailor-Made Freestyle," which included AI-generated vocals mimicking Snoop and the late Tupac Shakur. This was a strange choice by Drake, and an even stranger repost by Snoop, especially considering the rising tension between Drake and Kendrick at that time. Welcome to Celebrity Cookies, where the tea is always hot and the stories come with sprinkles of surprise. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment with your take on the story. The repost didn't go unnoticed. Fans saw it, Kendrick caught wind of it, and so did the streets of LA, where affiliations and endorsements carry significant weight. Kendrick responded in his signature style, subtly, poetically, and sharply. In his track, "Whacked Out Murals," he addressed the situation, not as a direct attack on Snoop, but more as a wake-up call to someone who seemed to be losing focus. Snoop posted "Tailor-Made. I prayed it was the edibles." That line wasn't meant to spark a feud. It was intended to shake things up. It conveyed disappointment with a touch of humor, sending a message from Kendrick to Snoop. "Big homie, what's happening?" Since that moment, the relationship dynamics have changed. Snoop Dogg recently mentioned in an interview with The Breakfast Club that he and Kendrick haven't spoken since then. And that silence, it's starting to hint at something deeper. To understand the significance of this moment, we need to reflect on the relationship between these two men, what they represent, and how this minor misunderstanding has grown into an uncomfortable rift between generations. Snoop Dogg is more than just a West Coast icon. He embodies the very spirit of the West Coast. He has lived through conflicts, seen the impact of real rivalries, and understands how quickly situations can escalate when lines are crossed. Conversely, Kendrick is the successor, the quiet force, the thinker. He has taken the chaos of the West Coast and transformed it into something introspective and genuine. When Snoop shared a Drake song during the peak of Kendrick's lyrical battle, it felt more like a betrayal than a simple mistake, especially considering what the song represented. Drake wasn't just throwing shade. He was crossing ethical boundaries by using AI to imitate voices that aren't his own, including that of a late icon who holds great importance for the West Coast. By reposting it, even without any ill intent, Snoop sent a misleading signal. It gave Drake an undeserved credibility in a conflict, which Kendrick was not willing to accept. Snoop's reaction was humble. He didn't get defensive or try to twist the narrative. He took accountability. "A big dog can be put in check by the right person," he said on The Breakfast Club. "There's nothing wrong with being put in your place if you're out of line." These words hold more weight than many realize. Snoop is not only acknowledging Kendrick's right to call him out, but also recognizing that Kendrick has enough influence and respect to do so. However, the apology didn't resolve everything. As Snoop noted, they haven't spoken since. That silence is what stings. The generational divide in hip-hop has always existed, with older artists criticizing the younger generation for lacking depth, while younger musicians often see the legends as out of touch. But this situation is different. It's not about Kendrick rebelling against the veterans. It's about trust and boundaries that shouldn't be crossed, even unintentionally. Kendrick isn't one to shout, subtweet, or post reaction videos. He communicates through his art, using carefully chosen words and his lyrics that resonate more deeply with each listen. So when he expressed a hope that it was just the edibles, he wasn't joking. He was expressing heartbreak, confusion, and perhaps disbelief. Snoop's demeanor during the interview reflected that confusion. He didn't react angrily or dismiss Kendrick's feelings as overly sensitive. He simply acknowledged, "We haven't talked." Those 3 words carry significant weight. This isn't the first time Kendrick has publicly called someone out, but it might be the first time it felt so uncomfortable. Snoop is not just any rapper. He's like family and a mentor figure from Compton. When Kendrick mentioned him in his song, he wasn't just addressing a peer. He was reaching out to someone he admires. Snoop revealed that he attempted to contact Kendrick to apologize, and perhaps that's where the hurt lies. Whether the call failed to connect or didn't result in any resolution. The harsh reality is that when our idols err, it stings more. And when they try to make things right but the harm is already done, the resulting silence can feel like an open wound. Kendrick has always been deliberate in his choices, knowing when to speak up and when to stay quiet. He recognizes the weight of his words. In this instance, he may have believed that his silence following the song conveyed a powerful message. Perhaps he didn't need a phone call. Maybe that verse was his way of finding closure. Or maybe it wasn't. The timing of Snoop's interview is noteworthy, as it took place just before the launch of his new album, Is It a Crime? A title that seems particularly relevant to this situation. The album is expected to explore controversial moments in Snoop's career, including this one, illustrating the difficulties of adapting to a generational shift and realizing, perhaps too late, that actions have repercussions in a rapidly evolving world that interprets events more deeply than ever. This situation isn't about cancel culture. No one is trying to cancel Snoop Dogg. It's about accountability. It's a moment where the new king faced the old king, and the old king handled it gracefully. Now, we find ourselves in an awkward middle ground. Two respected icons from the same background, yet one misstep or misunderstood endorsement has led to prolonged silence. And the fans are watching closely. In the ongoing Kendrick versus Drake saga, every action is under scrutiny, every repost, every lyric, every pause. When Snoop unexpectedly entered the conversation, it shifted the dynamics of the conflict. Not because it changed the outcome, but because it underscored how easily misunderstandings can occur when egos, alliances, and loyalties clash in real time. Snoop's humility during the interview was refreshing. He didn't assign blame or downplay the situation. Instead, he noted, sometimes the younger generation can teach the old dog a new trick. That's a sentiment not often heard in hip-hop, especially from someone who has been at the forefront since the 90s. It implies a deeper lesson. Perhaps Snoop has learned about the importance of awareness, understanding the atmosphere, and the necessity for even legends to stay sharp in a digital age where every action is scrutinized. And what about Kendrick? He hasn't responded to the interview. No tweets, no Instagram updates, just the same silence. Perhaps he has moved on, is waiting for the right moment, or, in true Kendrick fashion, believes he has already said everything that needs to be said. But there's another layer to consider. By choosing not to respond to Snoop, Kendrick may be making a statement that goes beyond just the repost. It highlights the seriousness of his rivalry with Drake, the importance of strategic decisions, and how even small missteps can disrupt their goals. Kendrick is not in this for the spotlight. He is fighting for deeper values, authenticity, legacy, and respect. In this battle, even an unintentional endorsement can feel like a betrayal. This situation goes beyond the realm of rap. It's fundamentally about principles. Snoop may not have meant any harm, but in a situation where every lyric is a jab, even a simple repost can appear treacherous. This is the unfortunate truth. Two influential figures, one misunderstanding, and now they find themselves at odds. However, there may still be a chance for resolution. Hip-hop has always thrived on both conflict and reconciliation. The silence between Kendrick and Snoop doesn't have to last forever. Perhaps this quiet period is part of the healing process, a necessary pause before a sincere conversation takes place, one that is free from cameras and lyrics. Just two individuals from similar backgrounds having a discussion. Until that moment arrives, we are left in silence. We dissect the lyrics, revisit the interviews, and wait. Because if there's one thing we can learn from Kendrick Lamar, it's that silence is never empty. It's always building toward something. And when it finally breaks, it changes everything. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the story.